Hello, hello, hello. How you doing today? My name is SpectrumDominus, and today we will be doing our WrestleMania 33, or as we like to call it, the Ultimate Thrill Ride WrestleMania prediction show. Now, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we do all of our prediction shows live. You can join us for the prediction shows at twitch.tv/SpectrumDominus. You can check that out below in the comments. All of my viewers are watching and literally making fun of me right now. I've done 6 startups, and we're going to go full at it this time. But we like to hang out. We like to do prediction shows, box openings. We'll do WWE Supercard. We do WWE 2K17. We even have our own storyline league on 2K17. So come check us out on that link below. But for today, we're predicting WrestleMania. Now, I have a habit, and they like to make fun of me, of drawing these prediction shows out so long. I believe my Royal Rumble prediction show was over 2 hours, which was a little excessive, I'll admit. So, I'm going to try to streamline this a little. There are 13 matches, 10 regular matches, 3 pre-show matches. And I'm not going to shortcut any of these matches, but I am going to try to not tangent as much as normal. So anyone who's joined us before knows, and those of you who haven't, I'm using Wikipedia and using their the page on Wikipedia to tell me the card, and that's the card I use for my prediction shows. The reason why is I have never used that card and found a match on it that wasn't on the show. However, I have on multiple occasions found matches that I did not know about that ended up being on the show, so I was able to predict them. So we're going to jump right in. There's a lot of matches to talk about, a lot of stuff going on, and before we get to the matches, the thing that everyone needs to understand is, and I talk about this all the time on stream, WrestleMania is the end of the season. Now, everyone knows WrestleMania is the Super Bowl of wrestling. It's you know, the end of the year. Tomorrow's the beginning of the year. But it's always been and always will be the end of... You got to think of wrestling and WWE like a television show. It is a television show, but it's done like a television show as well. And they write these stories for the season finale, whether it be Roman Reigns trying to get the belt all year long and Triple H trying to stop him, and then finally overcoming Triple H at WrestleMania to do so, or whether it be Hogan lusting after Miss Elizabeth from Randy Savage. After WrestleMania, those fights end and new fights begin. And although there may be some crossover back to those fights, this is where the storylines tend to end. Anything that has been built for this stage. And that's how you have to look at WrestleMania when you're predicting. You got to look at it as, sure, storylines will come of this. Stuff will happen because of this. But when you have big storylines, this is what they were building towards. What was the final outcome of this storyline that they're trying to tell? So, when you look at it like that, I'm going to go down the list. If it's something that they've been building for a long time, we'll incorporate it. We'll think about it from that mindset. So the first match they have listed is the 6-pack challenge for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. That's Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Natalya, Mickie James, Carmella, and Naomi. I'm kind of tossed about this one, not in the sense of who's going to win. This is a two woman race, in my opinion. And if you go back to WrestleMania 30, you'll see AJ Lee was the champion. The Vicky Guerrero Invitational, where AJ had to fight, I don't know, what was it, 15, 20 women? I have it listed here. I brought it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 other women. And the whole thing was she can't possibly do that and keep the title, and yet she did. And that's kind of the point. When you stick a heel champion, which she was at the time, in a situation that she cannot win the title, she can't keep the title. There's no way Alexa Bliss can keep the title versus Becky Lynch, Natalya, Mickie James, Carmella, and Naomi. Usually, then they do. The one wild card to this is Naomi, who theoretically should be the champion right now. It is in her hometown. All that. So, the two-horse race, not that I'm calling Alexa Bliss a horse. She's more like a Pegasus. So beautiful and graceful. She's awesome. I love Alexa Bliss. But Alexa Bliss and Naomi, everyone else are there as filler. None of them will win the title here. Why I'm tossed about this is their change from the any woman on the roster to the six-pack challenge. Now, it has become clear to me, because they made this change, that they made that statement because they wanted to leave the door open for Naomi if she was coming back. I don't know why Naomi... To me, Naomi is not a big enough of a draw that we sold a bunch more tickets because Naomi was coming. Oh my gosh, Naomi's going to be there. Let's go buy WrestleMania tickets. I don't see that as the case, so I'm not sure why they brought her back on SmackDown. I feel like leaving it open and having her be the surprise entrant at WrestleMania was much more enjoyable. Would have been much better storyline. Would have been better for the hometown crowd. Now, my prediction, my guess is it was done because they've decided to put it on the pre-show and they didn't want Naomi returned for the pre-show surprise. That it doesn't have the same effect. So because it was going to be a pre-show match, they cut off all that other stuff. They brought Naomi in, let people know she's going to be there, and it's on the pre-show, the end. Now, that being said, because it's on the pre-show, there's a lot less chance of a title change, in my opinion. I believe that there's going to be a fair number of title changes, but I can't imagine that they're just going to change every title. And because of the number of titles I see changing hands, I've got to say that Alexa Bliss is going to keep this title. I hope Alexa Bliss keeps the title. I don't want Naomi to have it. I don't really care for Naomi all that much. And I think Bliss is a great champion. I think she's doing great jobs. And a great job. She's not doing jobs. She's doing a great job, and they don't need to move it on to Naomi. Maybe they have some storyline planned with Naomi as a champion. I don't think they did. I really think that was a case of give it to her going into Orlando. But now that that's over, there's no reason for her to have it coming out of Orlando. So yeah, I'm going to say Bliss, especially with it being on the pre-show. Number 2 is Neville versus Austin Aries for the Cruiserweight Championship. I feel like this is arguably the best match that the Cruiserweight division, best match up, I can't think of another pair of Cruiserweights that are big enough name, even ones that aren't part of the division at this point. I can't think of two bigger named Cruiserweights. So this is the biggest match in the history of the Cruiserweight division, and possibly the biggest match in the history of it until it collapses. I cannot think of, like, for example, some people would say Finn Balor. Finn Balor is under the 205 mark. He could wrestle for the Cruiserweight division. He never will wrestle for the Cruiserweight title. But even if he did, I personally don't care. That's a whole other story. We'll get into that some other time. I'm not going to go on a tangent on Finn Balor right now. But of all the wrestlers in the world, I can't think of two bigger Cruiserweight names than these two. So this is the biggest match, not only in the current history, but possibly the future history of the 205. And it's a shame that it's happening. I mean, I understand why it's happening now. It's WrestleMania. There may not be a Cruiserweight division at WrestleMania 34. it has to happen now. But it's a shame that it's happening where Neville has only had the title for 2 months. The dominance of Neville needs that belt for longer. If you give the title Aries here, then Neville's the king of the cruiserweights, the dominance that he has exhibited kind of falters. It's kind of like what I've said about the Authors of Pain if you go and watch the NXT preview show, which you can find in the description below, for Takeover Orlando. But it's too soon to take that title away from Neville, I feel. Granted, he's had it 3 months. That's not too long to take a title off of someone usually, but you also don't usually have it on the best of the division. You take it off of Rich Swann because there's someone better. You take it off of Brian Kendrick because there's someone better. But if Neville is the best you've got, and the only thing better is maybe Austin Aries, you always want the heel to have the belt anyway because the chase is better than the heel on top. It just makes more sense that this should have happened later down the road. And because of that, I'm going to say that Neville keeps the title here as well. It's a pre-show match. I do not like titles changing hands on pre-shows. They don't either, I don't believe. And they're not above doing it, but I do not believe that they're going to do it here. There is more chance that the women's title changes hand on the pre-show than the cruiserweight. And I think this begins a storyline, not ends a storyline. The Austin Aries Neville thing just started up. I think there's time to build that. And Aries probably will be the person to take it away from him, but that can be a little later down the road at, 2 pay-per-views in the future or something. I believe SmackDown has the next pay-per-view, so the Raw pay-per-view would be after that. They could fight on the Raw pay-per-view, 4 weeks away. So, that'll be plenty of time to build up that a little bit more, and then Neville holds it for another month. That's probably a better way to do it. So I believe Neville holds onto the belt here as well. Then you have the 2017 Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Now, the Memorial Battle Royal has been kind of weird. I went back because I wanted to look at some stuff from the past, and I noticed that the first one had 31 participants. The second one had 20 participants. Then the second one had 30 participants, and then last year they had 20 participants. Now, this one, we're back up to 30. They've re-announced 30. Now, the original one had 30 participants, and then a surprise Cesaro re-entered. Like, he fought a match on the card, and then entered, and then won the Battle Royal. So that's where the 31 came from. In the history of this event, there's always been an NXT guy in this. I expected it to be Ty Dillinger or something like that. But they didn't hold any match that I know of. They didn't do anything. They've done nothing to say the winner of this, which they've done in the past, like tournaments and stuff. And it was before there were NXT pay-per-views, and that's why. They've done Battle Royals at Access. And the NXT guy that wins gets to be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I called Baron Corbin as the winner last year, and that happened. This year, there is 30 people already listed from Raw and SmackDown. Not a single NXT guy involved. So I don't know if they're just going to nix that part, not include it. If they're going to include some surprise. Theoretically, if you really wanted to throw a surprise, you let Nakamura lose, and then you throw him in the Battle Royal. I don't see them doing that, however, because I don't see them throwing the winner to an NXT guy 2 years in a row, and I don't see them throwing Shinsuke in and losing. So that's just kind of try to spice things up. I think that they're just going to go with no NXT guy this year. There's a lot of names in here, but there's really, this whole thing is set up for a Braun Strowman Big Show face-to-face. That's why it's there. I expect Braun Strowman to win. I've expected Braun Strowman to win for 2 months now. Braun Strowman was my pick to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal when I made my predictions for the Domination League we do, where we had to fake everything up through WrestleMania. I had Braun Strowman winning then. So I'm going to stick with that. Braun Strowman wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and possibly throws out Big Show to win it as the final guy. I think it's more likely that the only other thing in this that has any real value is Sami Zayn is going to have to put on a hell of a showing, so maybe Sami Zayn gets thrown out last. So someone on my one of my viewers, as I said, I'm doing this live, said that there's a Chinese wrestler they announced in WWE.com today that's been entered into the Battle Royal. So I'm going to see what this is. See if I can find this out real quick. I don't want to hold up the predictions for this, but let's do it this way. WWE announces another entrant in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. In June of last year, Tian Bing, the first Chinese pro wrestler outside of WWE, he hasn't spent much time on television, notably teaming with Ho Ho Lun in the Dusty Classic. This coincides with the recent announcement that WrestleMania will be available on pay-per-view. Naturally, he's on the pre-show. Either way, he's on. So they signed their first I remember when they signed him, June of last year, their first Chinese pro wrestler, and he has been also added. So, I was wrong about the NXT. They're up to 31 guys, assuming they didn't kick someone out. They're like, oh, well, in that case, Bo Dallas, we don't need you. Get out. They may go down to 30, but it's 31 again, I guess. He won't do anything. They're just getting him some TV time on the pre-show. I'm going to stick with Braun Strowman, probably throwing out Sami Zayn and or Big Show as the final, the three that matter. Thank you to my viewers for bringing that up. I did not know that. So that's why we do it live, so someone can help me out. All the stuff I don't know. All right. So now what we have is we have 10 matches, all of which are on the main show, all of which deserve to be on the main show, all of which either the match itself is big enough and they've built it up in a way and made it a special match to be there, or the storyline itself is big enough. So, for example, the match number 10, working my way to 1, is the triple threat ladder match for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship. Now, theoretically, this could have been a pre-show match had they not decided to turn it into a ladder match. They're not going to do a ladder match on the pre-show. And I think turning it into the ladder match was the best thing they could do. Because this went from... I mean, I'm looking at this... First of all, guys, this is... And I said this a little bit, and I said I'd delve into it. I honestly believe this is the single best WrestleMania card pre-WrestleMania ever. I do not think there's a card out there that from top to bottom is this stacked. Now, after the fact, there may be some matches we didn't like. We may find out that, oh, Baron Corbin, we just thought he was doing good, and now we realize he can't wrestle. He's not good, and that match was a stinker. Or wow, too many people in the women's match just made it crap. Or who knows what will happen. But before the pay-per-view happened, I cannot think of another pay-per-view that was this stacked from top to bottom. That wasn't just, let's throw an Intercontinental title match in there and throw 7 people into it. Sure, that's great. It's a way to get people on the card, and they usually make great matches. But from a storyline meaning perspective, there's no meaning behind that match. Every match here has meaning. Every match here has built. Every match here matters. And this, I believe, with the split, because of the split, I always preach the greatness of the split. This is what we get going forward. The ability to have meaningful pay-per-views instead of filler matches. He says 1 month after Rusev fights Big Show and Jinder Mahal fights whoever he fought on that show and lost to. Oh, Cesaro, as filler matches. Quick, do it. But anyway, no more tangents. Get back to it. So I think that turning this into a ladder match literally took this from the snoozer of the show It took it from, wow, this is the match I care least about, to one of my top 5 most look forward to match. This match can steal the show if done correctly. People like Carl Anderson and Cesaro in a ladder match. And then the big guys, Gallows, Sheamus, and Big Cass throwing their bodies around. I feel like they tend to leave out the big guys on ladder matches, but some of the best ladder matches are the ones that Kane or Mark Henry have been in. I really think that this could be... People are saying Neville Austin Aries is the show stealer, and I think it could have been if it was on the main show. But I think with them being on the pre-show and the seats still being empty because people are still getting to the arena, stuff like that, I think that the show stealer match could be the triple threat ladder match. That being said, I really, and anyone who watches my show, anyone that comes out and watches and talks to me is going to be completely surprised by this, but I really think the right answer is Gallows and Anderson, but they're going to give it to Amore and Kaz. Amore and Kaz is going to walk away the tag team champs, but they should keep the titles on the club. That is my prediction. Amore and Kaz, Enzo and Kaz are going to win the first championship tonight in that match. And good for them. I like them. I do. I really like Enzo and Kaz. I think they deserve a title, but I think they deserved it a little while ago. I think that right now is the club's time, and it should stay on the club. The next match they have listed is Dean Ambrose, the champion, Intercontinental Champion, versus Baron Corbin. This one should be an easy call. Corbin should win this pretty handedly. I realize that there's a lot of Dean Ambrose fans out there who are very annoyed with the direction Ambrose has taken. And I've said this, we've talked, and I've said this after his world title reign. No one was happy with his world title reign. WWE was not happy with it. People like Stone Cold Steve Austin gave him crap about it on the podcast. His title reign, he drew no numbers, he drew nothing. His title reign is considered the biggest WWE title reign flop in recent memory. And because of that, he's not getting to the world title level for a while. He is going to be the guy that builds up other people. This is where he is. He's going to drop this title to Corbin, and then Corbin will eventually drop it and move back and move up into the world title picture, and then Ambrose may win it again to drop it to someone else. We've seen other people that have this same formula. People like Dolph Ziggler and The Miz, former world champions that did not have exciting reigns, were not considered successful, although The Miz was considered successful, just not to the point where they felt they could give him another world title reign. And what they do is Dean Ambrose has become in that same category as Ziggler and Miz. He will win an Intercontinental title so he can lose it to someone moving up into the world title picture and then win another Intercontinental title later down the road. And that's how it goes. So Ambrose will lose here. Corbin will win his first singles championship. He will win his first championship. He hasn't even won a tag team title. So he will win his first championship in WWE. And I think that this one will be... he'll have it for 3 or 4 months before losing it because they're going to want to push him up to the main event level. He will be in the main event picture and possibly Money in the Bank winner this year. But he'll be in the main event picture by WrestleMania next year. So the next match I have is John Cena and Nikki Bella versus Miz and Maurice. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. I understand why this match is happening. We all want to see John Cena versus Undertaker. We didn't get it. Some of us would have rathered see John Cena versus The Miz. That would have been a neat match. I would have been fine with that match. I love that the heat that they have managed to put on this match with all the Bella bullshit whatever segments that Nikki and Maurice and Miz have been doing. I really like it. I really like how John Cena tore into to Miz and Maurice on SmackDown this week. I loved that segment. And the thing is, he has been pretty quiet this whole time. He's let Nikki do the talking. He's almost kept himself out of it and just let the thing build on its own. And it's been a real nice build. I really enjoy it. I'm excited about the storyline, even if I'm not excited about the match. But most of us know this, or at least suspect this. I suspect this as well. I have not said it. I was not going to say it. I was saving it for here. But it's not even that much of a surprise anymore. The reason this match is happening is because John is going to propose to Nikki after the match. All right? This has nothing to do with the match. And because John is going to propose to Nikki after the match, Nikki and John have to win the match. I expect Nikki to pin Maurice. Nikki and John win. John proposes to Nikki. Now, while going through stuff and looking for match numbers and what have you, I saw someone put a prediction up there that I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't believe that's going to happen. But I'm going to say it here. Not as if it's my own. I cannot credit the source because it was kind of just something I read on my way by and I don't know who it was. But someone said, it was one of those things that has to happen at WrestleMania or something. Nikki has to say no to the proposal. I was like, that's awesome and brilliant. If they're going to do the proposal, then Nikki already knows about it. Nikki knows this, and thus she's already essentially been proposed to. So a storyline no would be so good. So much better. I don't think they're going to do that. This is one of their feel-good moments. All the hundreds of people that watch Bellas and Total Bellas and Total Divas and have been watching this drama for 6 seasons now or whatever, this is their payoff. So they're going to get this great feeling and meaningful thing or whatever. So this is great. Nikki gets the win and she gets her ring. And now she's got to start bugging John about having babies. But to each their own. The next match, Nikki kicks Cena in the nuts and says no. Exactly. That'd be great. I think that'd be great. So the next match is a singles match for the United States Championship. Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens. I don't think there's much of a surprise to this one either. Yet, again, this is another title change. And this is why I said I feel like Alexa Bliss holds on to it, just because there's so many title changes happening. Chris Jericho is going to lose to Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens becomes the U.S. champion. We've talked on the stream. People don't want to believe it. But Kevin Owens, and I'm not saying he will never hold a title again, but Kevin Owens, think of him like Sheamus. Sheamus had multiple title reigns, but was never the man. And Kevin Owens is never going to be the man. He will be a guy that they go to from time to time. He will be a guy that they can trust, but he's never going to be the man. And because of that, he's going to linger at the U.S. title level for most of his career. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. We love Kevin Owens. I love Kevin Owens. You guys love Kevin Owens. You guys want him to be Universal Champion. I understood why they took the belt off of him. That belt needed to be on Goldberg Lesnar match completely. This is an argument for another day. I'm not going to get into this in my prediction show. But the Kevin Owens Chris Jericho match always was and always would be for the U.S. belt. There was no, in my mind, there was no way it was for the Universal belt. I said they could not have Jericho win the Royal Rumble and then go against Kevin Owens. It was not a real possibility. I kind of got a little worried there that I was wrong, but no, they didn't. They made sure that it wasn't a possibility. It was always for the U.S. belt. It's not a big enough match, no matter how much you want it to be. It's not a big enough match for the Universal level. So So Jericho is going to lose Kevin Owens and then probably disappear for a while. I know he's got tour dates with Fozzy. I know he was supposed to be done after last year's WrestleMania or SummerSlam or something, but he got so involved and he enjoyed the storyline with Kevin Owens so much that he kept extending. He's on like a month-by-month contract right now. And it's pretty much over again. His contract has been over for months, and he just keeps extending because of this storyline. But the storyline ends here, and this is what I was talking about at the start of the stream. This is the end of one of these massive storylines that has been building for 6+ months, and the final ending is Kevin Owens wins, gets the Universal title, Chris Jericho disappears. So there's that match. So the next match is a Fatal 4-Way elimination match for the Raw Women's Championship. The champion Bayley versus Charlotte Flair versus Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. Again, and I say again, but this was on the NXT prediction show that I did. You can check that out in the comments down below. Again, I feel like this may have been a mistake to make this a elimination match. I don't know what they have planned and the order they have it planned. When you do an elimination match, it means that Nia Jax has to get pinned. So unless there's a sequence where all three of them work together and all lay on Nia Jax, someone's going to essentially pin her. And I don't want that. That is, unless she wins. So for me, because you made it an elimination chamber match, that'd be awesome, an elimination chamber match. No, but because you made it an elimination match, I would let Nia Jax win the title here. Because you made an elimination match. Nia Jax is not walking out the champion. Nia Jax is going to end up in 2 pay-per-views in a row getting sneakingly rolled up and not kicking out. She lost to Sasha Banks at Fastlane that way. She's going to end up doing the same thing here probably. Someone's going to sneak a win on her, and she's going to be eliminated even though she shouldn't. She's still strong or whatever. It's a mistake. They shouldn't have made this an elimination match. This should have been a one fall and just made it long. Same. You can say 15 minutes and everyone gets eliminated 5 minutes in. 5, or however. Or you can just say 15 minutes and last the whole time. It probably would have been better if it was a full match with all of them in there. Then you could have any one of them pin anyone you wanted, and Bayley does a Bayley to belly of Nia Jax off the top rope. Sasha grabs Bayley, throws her out of the ring, and pins Nia. Sasha is the champion. Charlotte doesn't get pinned at the pay-per-view, even though that doesn't matter anymore. But Charlotte doesn't look weak because she's not the one that gets pinned. Sasha looks bad because she threw Bayley off to take the title. Nia Jax doesn't look that bad. There are ways to go about it. But with an elimination, now everyone has to lose except for whoever you have winning. That being said, I want to believe that this is going to be Sasha. I don't know how to do this to turn Sasha heel, especially in an elimination match. For example, in a non-elimination match, the scenario I just went with, it's kind of like Sasha screwed Bayley. But in an elimination match, Sasha, and don't get me wrong, because she has to screw Bayley if she wants to win in that situation. So she didn't do anything wrong, but she kind of did something wrong. Whereas in an elimination match, there's no need to screw. It's just stand out of the way, let her pin Nia Jax, and then pin Bayley, because she has to pin her. She has to beat her. The match doesn't end when one person wins. So it's hard to turn Sasha Banks heel here. I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but I feel not only that, but they don't have any other faces. I think turning Sasha is a mistake, but I think that's what they're going to do. This is one of the ones where I'm predicting a mistake. Charlotte should win. I'm rambling in circles here. So let's take it back to even. If it's not an elimination match, Charlotte Flair should win. walk out with the title. She's the best heel. She should have the title. I don't care that she has 7 reigns and you guys don't like it. She deserves it. Give her the title. If Charlotte's not going to win and it's not an elimination match, then Sasha should win by screwing over Bayley and becoming the champion. Since it's an elimination match, then you should give it to Bayley. But in that case, you're doing the same thing as you do with the exact Alexa Bliss match that I predicted earlier. So we can't do that. Because it's an elimination match, you should give it to Nia because she's a beast and you can't beat her, and you got to beat her if it's an elimination match. But they're not going to do that. So we have all these things. This is the hardest one for me to predict. Because of that, I'm going with the obvious. Sasha turns on Bayley. Sasha turns heel. They'll kind of do it with the Sasha's justified. Like the next night on Raw, she's going to be like, "What did you want me to do? It was a championship match. I had to win. What was I going to do? Just let you pin me? I had to pin you." So I don't know how they go about that. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to keep her face for a little bit, but one of those situations where we know she's heel, but for a week or two, Bayley doesn't know she's heel yet. Because we get to see all the backstage segments and locker room stuff that Bayley doesn't get to see. That's where I think they're going with this. So I think they put the title back on Sasha. That's going to be my official prediction. It goes back on Sasha, but it's also the match that I'm least sure about. Match I'm least sure about. Everyone in chat right now is saying, weapon, table spot, chair, stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah. That stuff can be used. That all can be, Sasha can hit Bayley with a chair if you want to be a hard heel turn. But and obviously you could do it with the ref's back turn or the ref is knocked out so they don't see it because it is an elimination match that would disqualify them. But I don't really want it to be a hard turn like that. I feel like it's going to be more of the soft turn I talked about. So we'll see how it plays. Someone in chat just said, will she hold it longer than a month? Yes, she will hold it for a while. She'll hold it for a little while at that point. Next match is Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles. I feel that when this video is over, you can all come to my stream, twitch.tv/SpectrumDominus. You can check the comments below for that link and argue with me about this. But this is the absolute best match for AJ Styles. Screw everyone else who is upset about this. I don't give a damn. I am glad this is happening. He snuck it with no storyline. Without storyline, and first of all, there's 3 months worth of storyline here. People just want to ignore it. But with no storyline, he has got himself on a top 4 match. Like the 4th most important match on the card with 0 storyline. So I don't have a problem with this match whatsoever. AJ gets a win over Shane. This isn't even, as far as everything goes, this is going to be a ridiculous spot fest. But it's going to be a great, entertaining match. AJ Styles may put on great matches, but he also puts on entertaining matches. They are not just, oh, look, he can wrestle. They are, oh, wow, I want to watch this. And that is 2 different things. And Shane McMahon, like him or not, whether he can't, it doesn't matter that he can't throw punches. What matters is when Shane McMahon is in the ring, you want to watch him wrestle. You want to watch him jump across. The fact that he's already jumped and did a table spot, a ring-to-table leap on the show, they gave that away for free, tells me that this is going to be a ridiculous spot fest in some way. And AJ said on the show, this isn't, if you're outside the ring for more than 10 seconds, you're going to get counted out. You can't hit me with stuff. You can't do this stuff. This isn't your match. This is a wrestling match, which tells me that they're going to find some ways. It's going to be so awesome. Everyone's like, he's going to need to jump from the roller coaster set. And Yes, if the ref is knocked out and not counting, I guess. But I'm interested to see how they play it off. I really am. But I think that there is no match that would have been better for AJ. There is one match that would have been better for AJ had they been able to do it without a storyline. And that was Shawn Michaels, AJ Styles. Now, rumor has it that they offered Shawn that match. He said, I'm not coming out of retirement, so they moved over to Shane. But you can name every amazing wrestler in the book, and I still would much rather see Shane versus AJ than an amazing wrestler versus AJ with no storyline. So, best matchup for AJ. It's going to be a great match, and to be honest with you, if you had booked AJ versus Shinsuke Nakamura, you guys can all drool about how great that would be because it would be a rematch of the greatest match of all time or whatever. But wrestling WWE style on a WWE card and the fifth match from the top, and it just would not have been as good or as big. It just wouldn't have been. The next match is Seth Rollins versus Triple H in a non-sanctioned match. This one's interesting to me. Until it was the non-sanctioned match thing, to me it seemed like it had to be Seth Rollins. Now with the non-sanctioned match, you never know what's going to happen. Samoa Joe comes down, and I just realized Samoa Joe is not on the card at all. Oh my gosh, he's not even in the Battle Royal. He is not on the card at all. Huh. Okay, 100% chance Samoa Joe comes out for this fight. Which means that someone has to come out and help Seth Rollins. My prediction, even though it makes no sense to me whatsoever. I don't want it to happen, but WWE is all about making you guys pop. They want you to be surprised. They want you to be... This is where Finn Balor shows back up. Triple H, Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe is going to come out because Samoa Joe is not on the card, and Finn Balor is going to make his return during this match. This is the match where he comes back. I don't know why. There's no justification, but it's going to happen. And probably will set up a Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe feud, which could be exciting. But this is where Balor will return. That being said, because Balor returns during this match, Seth Rollins still wins the match. I think sets up Seth Rollins versus... sets up Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe. You can continue Seth Rollins versus Triple H for another month or two. Now that he's healed, some real matches. If that's the case, someone just put, I predict Balor comes back on Monday. And that's a possibility. Balor may not show up at all and he comes back on Monday. If that's the case, then Triple H needs to win, or something else surprising and shocking happens. Elias Sampson decides to be, I don't know, the newest member of Seth Rollins' new Shield. I don't even know what you could do. But there's no way that Seth Rollins should win this on his own. And there's definitely no way that Seth Rollins should win this with Samoa Joe. Triple A is greatest of all time. I'm not saying he actually is. I'm just saying he's way above on the level of Rollins. Rollins should not be able to beat Triple H. Rollins only has one leg. It's a non-sanctioned match. That's Triple H's wheelhouse. Everything says this is the Triple H's should win this. And then you add Samoa Joe. There's no way Rollins should win this match. And I'll be very upset if he does, unless someone comes out to even the odds. The only other person that could come out to even the odds, I guess, would be Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn currently kind of has something going with Samoa Joe. And he's got something going with the Authority, which would put him on the bad side of the Authority. Triple H. Mick Foley. I didn't even think about Mick Foley. But it would put that whole thing. So maybe Sami Zayn makes a little more sense Sami Zayn makes a little more sense. It would go towards him getting fired, rehired on SmackDown, or building towards the same Daniel Bryan storyline where they spend a year putting down Sami Zayn and then build him up to a potential Royal Rumble win, world title match at WrestleMania. You never know how they want to do it, but they juggle a lot of balls and they see how it goes. I feel Sami Zayn, if Finn Balor is not going to get involved here, then it'll be Sami Zayn. The next match is Undertaker versus Roman Reigns, and I'm going to skip this one and come back to it. The next match over that is Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. I'm going to skip this and come back to it. And I'm going to go to the final match, which is Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton is listed as number 1. It is the Royal Rumble winner who tends to headline WrestleMania. They call it the main event. They tend to go on last. But there is precedent, like Sheamus winning the Royal Rumble and then fighting the first match of the night. There are precedents for that not being the case. And this, I think, is one of those cases. I do not believe that Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton goes on last. I do believe that Randy Orton does not take the title here. I think Bray holds onto the title. First of all, let's not even get into storyline or whatever. Let's start with the history of the WWE Heavyweight Championship belt. All right? January, it's on John Cena. February, it's on AJ Styles. March, it's on Bray Wyatt. Another switch here could be cataclysmic to the value of that belt. It's like the women's belt on Raw, except that it's not getting switched between just 2 people. It's getting switched between 4 people. You do not want to switch the title so much. Second, AJ Styles losing the belt was not that big of a deal. And I said AJ Styles, John Cena and AJ Styles. I flipped that, reverse it. AJ was in January, Cena was in February, sorry. AJ Styles losing the belt, he kept it for a long time. Cena is losing the belt that quickly, he's an established main eventer. And it doesn't hurt his credibility at all. But a first-time champion like Wyatt, getting the belt and losing it less than a month later, really hurts his credibility. You want your first-time champions to hold it like AJ did, like Kevin Owens did. You want them to hold it for 6 months if they can, if you can get them to do that. And they can here. There is nothing coming up the pipeline. There is no one. I mean, on SmackDown, literally, you have AJ Styles, which is rumored to be moving over. You have Baron Corbin, who's just getting the Intercontinental title. You have nothing coming up the line. John Cena's going on break. Bray Wyatt can hold this belt until they do a brand split and they move Roman Reigns over and have him take it from Bray Wyatt. My God, please no. But anyway, so Bray Wyatt is going to win and keep the title here. There is no reason to put the title on Randy Orton. Now, let's get to those final 2 matches. Goldberg and Brock Lesnar and Undertaker and Roman. There is a history in WWE of ending the event happy for WrestleMania for a good percentage of the time. I try to figure it out. There are situations where Triple H is standing over a fallen Randy Orton while holding a sledgehammer. It happens, but for the most part, they want everyone leaving WrestleMania happy. They wanting the storylines that they're telling to be completed and everything locked up, all nice in a bow and what have you. And because of that, it's hard to tell, because what makes sense is for Goldberg, Brock Lesnar to finish the pay-per-view. All right? Now, here's the thing. Brock Lesnar is probably going to win this title. I would like to, in my perfect world, Goldberg signed another year contract and Goldberg wins again. Because, heck, I'm having fun with Goldberg. Go ahead, Goldberg. Go 10 minutes this time, but still win the match. And people would be shocked as fuck. Okay, there goes our PG rating. Oops. Anyway, but seriously speaking, Brock Lesnar is going to win this. And Brock Lesnar standing over a defeated Goldberg, holding the title, isn't necessarily the vision that they want it ending on. So what I'm predicting is that the last match is going to be the Undertaker-Roman Reigns match. Now this can go one of two ways. Well, it could go one of three ways. Way number one, a big FU to everyone. Roman Reigns defeats The Undertaker. The end. He's standing there. Undertaker's now 23-2 or whatever, and I am Roman Reigns, and I have killed The Undertaker's career, and it's over. And praise me, I am Roman Reigns. That's number one, how it could end. Number two, how it could end. Undertaker beats Roman Reigns. Simple, easy, effective. Everyone expects number three. Everyone expects number three, and we'll get to number three in a second. But if Undertaker wins, the amount of cheers you would get, think of the reaction when Undertaker lost to Brock Lesnar and how pissed people were. Imagine, even if you turn Roman heel, the level of pissed. Sure, he's heel, but you still gave him a win over The Undertaker. There's still going to be people pissed. But if Undertaker straight up beats your golden boy and the main event of WrestleMania, and the final thing is Undertaker standing victorious over Roman Reigns, essentially WWE doing what they did at Royal Rumble. Let's stick Roman Reigns in so you'll cheer Randy Orton winning the Royal Rumble. No one wanted Randy to win the Royal Rumble, but everyone wanted Randy to win the Royal Rumble when it was either Randy or Roman. And that was their thought process. They're realizing it. They're knowing what's going on, and they're using it to their advantage. So a win over Roman Reigns here. Everyone's like, why not have him fight John Cena? Why not have him fight Braun Strowman? Why? Because we can give him a win over Roman Reigns, and everyone leaves WrestleMania happy no matter what we do. We can literally do everything wrong, and if the final page of WrestleMania is Undertaker standing victorious over Roman Reigns, people will cheer so hard, and that is my prediction. Now the flip side of that, and this is why, the third option is what is considered the best option. Roman, who's been teasing his heelness in this upcoming battle, goes full on heel, becomes a bad guy, and beats The Undertaker, and comes on Raw the next night on the heel side of the world. Everyone wants that. It would be what's best for Roman. A Roman heel would be right. It's what they need to do. No one gets to the top. Not even John Cena gets to the top as a face without spending some time as a heel. And Roman's heel time was only as part of the Shield. He never got his solo heel. It's needed. It's necessary. Roman needs to be heel so people can support him as a heel. Then maybe eventually they'll support him. I've heard it all, and I agree with it. That being said, and that may be what's right, I do not trust WWE to do that. If that's what we're saying, if every year I sit here and say, this year Roman's going to turn heel and Paul Heyman is going to switch sides and Roman's going to beat Brock Lesnar for the title with Paul Heyman as his new manager. That's what I predicted 3 years ago when Seth Rollins cashed in. That's what should have happened. Would have been amazing. Now, in their defense, they came up with amazing as well, and I'm good with it. But would have been amazing. But now it's too choreographed. It's too telegraphed. We see it coming a mile away, and WWE, I do not think they have the balls to do it. It's what they should do, and because of that, the final frame will be one step back. It will be Undertaker beating Roman Reigns, and that is how they're getting their cheers. They think that people will be just as happy with that as they will be. And they will be. In the moment, they'll be happier with Undertaker winning than Roman Reigns winning. But in the long run, when the fair weather fans, the people that show up from January to April to watch the road and then then disappear, when those fans disappear and you have your hardcore fans, they would have rather the Roman heel turn. But in that moment, sending people home happy with a Undertaker win is what they're looking for, and that's what's going to happen. Undertaker will beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. That is my prediction. Let me know what you think in the comments. Click like and subscribe if you like the video and if you want to see more. Check out my channel on Twitch where we do this live all the time at twitch.tv/SpectrumDominus.com. Make sure you check out my NXT prediction videos in the comments, and we'll see you soon. I'm SpectrumDominus. Take care.